Well, greetings everyone, and welcome once again to another Friday session of And the Winners Are, brought to you by the SPORTSKRIB Network. Let's get all our little commercials out of the way here. I am your host, James E. King III, better known as West Coast Steeler fan. Uh, you can catch us on YouTube or our Facebook apps, and our Cash App donation is $JE King 3. Please like, subscribe, and donate. All proceeds go to the network and for us to keep bringing you excellent programming. So tonight we are going to talk a little bit about the Monday Night Football game. Going to talk a little bit about uh, oh man, okay, all right. So, yeah, we're going to talk about, of course, the upcoming games, make our predictions, talk about what happened Thursday night as well as Monday night, and of course, I'm sure a lot of you are wondering what the hell is going on in fantasy football land. As well as some of the puzzling starts for some of our supposed favorites. Um I'm, uh, as you can see, and my moniker, West Coast Steeler fan. I'm certainly uh, disappointed in our season and the way things have went. I'm not surprised, but I'm certainly disappointed. And the losing continues. I don't think we're going to be Tampa Bay Sunday, but let's get off into the show. I see Mike is here, so let's get right down to it. Good evening, Mike. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing well. How about yourself, sir?
I'm doing fine. I'm doing fine. Had some very interesting things happen this week. In on and out of the arenas of sports per se. But there's a couple things just want to talk about uh, during our course of conversation, especially the uh, Devontae Adams debacle here.
Mm,
He
yep.
said, but if we're going to talk about that, we have to talk about Brett Favre. And I'd like to get your take on what's happening here. I mean, this is a state where 60 to 75% of the applicants for assistance are not approved.
Mm,
you know,
wow.
and now we have. I think Bill came up with a figure last night. Out of the 20 some $million that they are allotted, uh, they only end up spending uh, like 3.5 million. And Favre gets this much for not even speaking. But what is your take on Favre's take is, like, hey, they're out to smear me. This isn't what happened. But he returned the money.
Well, yeah. Well, if where's he returning it from? If he's not being smeared, that would be my question. If you have the money and money stolen, um, I'm going to think he stole it. So, um,
I was just holding it for a friend.
yeah, it's just my friend. He said, "Here, have this," and yeah, it's always the friend, right? No, I don't believe that for. I mean, the guy is a scuzz bucket. He's been a scuzz bucket from the very beginning. I mean, we know what he's done with to other females is showing, sending pictures that are inappropriate that were never asked for. Um, and probably a lot of other things that covered up and been, sort of this situation that's finally came to light. So, do I believe he's done it? I mean, I believe it. Do I have proof of it? No, but I wouldn't doubt it. It's not like a situation where I think he's, completely guilty, innocent of something. If anything, he's guilty of it. So, yeah, he's not a good person.
Yeah, it's I mean, like you said, there's there are lines that have been crossed. Just as I mean, the Steelers organization certainly hid things about Big Ben uh,
Yeah,
and and a lot of its players. But then when you get down to it, I mean, like I said, this money was intended for poor people,
right,
people that are people this is assistance to the poorest of the poor.
right.
You know, and I kind of have a problem with that when first of all, your daughter transferred from the school. She didn't even stay. She didn't even stay there. So after you build the gymnasium with, I think as Bill was explaining it, they had to have a couple job fairs or some farmers markets or something like, to show that they were, this was the guys that they were using.
Hmm.
So, it's it's always, uh, not saying that I don't have my flaws, but when you steal from the poorest of the poor, it just kind of it's like taking money out of a blind man's hat. You know what I
Yep.
mean? You know,
It's definitely cringy. I mean, it's wrong to steal, but when you go to extra levels of stealing, then you're just like, whoa, dude! Like, not only stealing something, but you're also stealing from people who don't have anything. It's extra levels of just grossness.
yeah, yeah. So let's talk a little college football and get off of this other stuff here. The ACC commissioner says that there's a lot of push to expand the college football playoffs by 2024. Do you think that we'll have an expanded playoff by then? And how many teams do you think it will expand to?
Well, when does it expand? Is it 2026? Is it
Yes,
supposed to expand?
yeah.
So they wanted 2 years. That would be what, next year, right?
Well, year after next. Next
Year
year's
after that.
officially next year is 2023.
I
So
I can I can
it would
see
be
I can see that. I can see a couple more teams going in. I mean, it's they're going from 4 to 8, I believe, in 2026.
right.
And so 4 to 6 in 2024 would make sense.
Okay. What do you think would be an ideal number here if we develop these kind of super conferences that already had the foundations laid? The SEC, the Big Ten, the Big 12. Uh, we know the Big Ten is probably going to stop at 14. The ACC, of course, they're adding two teams. So, what do you think that just like we ran out of well, four, that should be enough, but then all of a sudden we got more interest and teams started getting better. Now we had this portal. What do you think it would be the ideal uh, playoff scenario? I mean, I don't think we're going to go to the basketball format, what,
Oh god.
63, but maybe 12, 16. But what do you think?
To be honest with you, I think 4 is the perfect format.
Okay.
Um, I I just don't think that the probability of a team that's going to win it all to lose it is like the Alabamas and LSU the year with Joe Burrow and the they're always there's always like blowouts and the team that is going to win it that year is clearly the team that's going to win it. You know, it's so I get why they're expanding it and it makes more fun and it makes more money, but it's yeah, for me 4 is the perfect number.
Okay. All right. Uh, if Rule returns to college football uh, ranks, where do you think he would most likely end up at? Colorado, Nebraska, Georgia Tech, Arizona State, Wisconsin, or somewhere else?
Yeah, I see him going to sort of a like a Georgia Tech kind of school. I don't Nebraska could definitely would want him. I mean, I think his he'll have wherever he wants to go. Because
Yeah,
he's
but
done
who
it so
wants?
well.
But who wants Nebraska, man? I
Yeah, exactly, right?
mean, you know,
Yeah, and maybe he's looking for a challenge. I don't know, but yeah, if I have the picking, I'm not going to choose a team that needs the most work, right? Um, and so yeah, I could see him going with a legitimate school that is on its way up that doesn't have as many holes as Nebraska does. I don't know whatever happened to that school. That school was legitimate, as you probably remember. How I mean, they were the LSU's and Alabama's all together at one point,
yeah,
but they've sure fallen off.
but you have to remember, at that time, Kellogg's cornflakes was the most popular cereal, also. You know, so I mean, there's a reason why it's called the Cornhusker State. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
there ain't nothing there. It's plain as plain. So,
yeah. So you
um,
know, that,
yeah,
financially, I mean, I'm not saying that they're not rich people in Nebraska, but compared to Texas or Florida, you might
yeah,
come up lacking a little bit.
yeah. You got
Yeah,
corn
yeah,
versus
yeah,
oil. I wonder
yeah,
what makes more money, oil or
yeah,
corn.
yeah. So, you know,
Yeah. Yeah, I think he'll have whatever there's gonna be a lot of teams coming to him. It'll probably be the other. Now which team the other is, I don't know, but yeah.
that's why we call him the other.
Yeah. Yeah, just create a new school, call them the other, and we're all good.
Yeah. Feinbaum says that Alabama will lose to Tennessee if Bryce Young doesn't play.
Mm.
Do you agree with Feinbaum? Bill says they'll be fine. He points to the backup quarterback that's built like a brick house, but can he drop that pass down there? Or are we looking at a Lamar Jackson type uh, offense from Alabama, or what? What's your thoughts? No
Yeah.
Bryce Young, no victory.
I think even it might even the way Alabama has been trending lately, they might beat them with Bryce Young. Um, eh, yeah, but for certain, if Bryce Young isn't there, then there's yeah, I don't see them winning that game.
Okay. Venture any score? Well, no, I'm going to ask a little bit about that a little bit later. Uh,
Okay,
Georgia is back at number one, and Alabama is at number three.
right.
Do you think this is bulletin board material for Ohio State? I mean, they've been jumped over. That now they're in a sandwich. I mean, they started out at number three. But what do you think?
Yeah, I it's one of those situations where I don't. I think Georgia has always been ahead of them because I think Ohio State's been 3, but it's definitely something that you feel passed over for, especially if Alabama's going to drop below you. You're like, okay, we should be there and not you. So I'm glad that Michigan doesn't play them this week, because the bulletin board material definitely is not something you want as an opposing team.
Which of these contenders do you think is going to have the hardest game this week? Alabama, which is number 3, against number 6 Tennessee. You guys, number 4 against number 10 Penn State. But Penn State is coming to your house. Oklahoma State is going on the road against TCU, and USC is playing Utah. And right now, Vegas has Utah a 3-point favorite, even though USC is ranked number 10.
All these are going to be great games. I'm going to stick with the upset with Tennessee over Bama. So I think they're most in trouble is Alabama. Next, I would probably have Penn State and Michigan. I didn't like the way Michigan played last week. They didn't really turn it on until the late fourth quarter. The Oklahoma State TCU should be a good matchup as well as USC and Utah. I think number 3 would be Utah, USC, and then number 4 would be TCU and Oklahoma State.
Do you think that your alma mater was just looking ahead to this big game with Penn State?
It could be. They're not my alma mater, but they very well could be. I'm just a big, huge fan of Michigan.
Okay, all right. Now, this next question, questions. I know that you guys, like I said, you keep up with the fantasy and dynasty, so you kind of know about these guys, and so here's some of the deadline, the trade deadlines that I got from an ESPN article. And I was wondering what you thought about these. Now, you tell me to be or not to be when it comes to these trades. These are trades by the deadline. Okay. So I'm going to start with the Bills. God knows they're loaded already. Yeah. But, okay. I have the tight end, Dan Arnold, coming from the Jags. And the Jags get a 6th-round pick in 2023. The second would be that the Bills get Saquon Barkley, and they get a 7th-round pick, and the Giants would get Zach Moss and a 2nd-round pick. To be or not to be?
I can see the Bills getting Dan Arnold for a 6th-rounder. I mean, they do have Dawson Knox, but Dawson Knox has been in and out of the lineup. And Dan Arnold would give them a better tight end than Quentin Morris. So I could see that happening. I don't see the Giants giving up Saquon Barkley. I think he's in his contract extension season. So the money would probably make sense if they wanted to go in a different direction. Plus, he's been injured, but the way he's playing now, I don't see it. I think that they'd keep Saquon Barkley.
Now, Bill isn't here, so I'm sure we're going to mess up a whole lot of names tonight. But okay, the Chiefs, they get cornerback Noah. Maybe Mbuganehi, and a 7th-round pick from the Dolphins, and the Dolphins get a 6th-round pick in 2023.
Sure. I don't know who Noah. I'm Noah I. I'm just.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't butcher his name. I'm going to say Noah I. Yeah, I'm not too familiar with that, but for a defensive
I
back,
think I think he's been traded around. I'm not sure. He might have been a high draft pick in I want to say 2020.
oh, let's see. Um, First round, 20. Yes, correct. First round, 2020 out of Auburn.
Okay, yeah, I knew he was because all these guys are high round draft picks, so some they just haven't worked out for their team.
Hmm.
Uh, but yeah, I thought he was up there. Okay, the Titans get edge rusher Jerry Hughes, and the Texans get a fifth round pick from the Titans.
That makes sense. I could see fifth round value for Jerry Hughes.
Okay, the Bucks get offensive lineman Joe Haig, and the Clowns get a sixth round pick.
Yeah, they definitely need some offensive lineman help. And if they can get trade a 6th round pick for Joe Haig, that would be a solid value for him, I think.
Okay, the Packers get wide receiver Claypool and a seventh round pick in 2024, and the Steelers get Armani Rogers and the fourth round pick in 2023.
Ooh, 7th for 4th. Claypool for Rogers. Amari Rogers hasn't done anything, but
Anything.
Jason Claypool hasn't done much himself.
Yeah,
So
if you
I think that would be a fair trade. 3 rounds. They'd probably would want a little bit higher, like a fifth or a sixth out of that trade. But yeah, that makes sense.
okay, the Ratbirds get wide receiver Denzel Mims, and the Jets get a conditional seventh round pick in 2024.
20. Yeah, that that would make sense too. They need a receiver. Denzel Mims is definitely not someone that has done anything in the NFL, and he was a high pick too.
Right.
Um,
That's why it
so
says. That's why I said a conditional pick for this. Right.
yeah, conditional. Yeah, that would make a lot of sense. Especially a 7th round conditional pick. That evens itself out.
All right. Your Colts get offensive lineman Cameron Irving and a 2024 seventh round pick, and the Panthers get your 2024 fifth round pick.
That'd be something the Colts would do. Absolutely. I would see them completely doing that, giving up a 5th round for Cameron Irving in a 7th round. Talking about needing help, the Colts definitely need help. I don't know how good Cameron Irving is anymore, but that would be something they would definitely look at.
I mean, a fifth round pick. If you cut him, you haven't lost that much. I mean,
Exactly.
and then,
Exactly.
the Rams, they get edge rusher Robert Quinn, and the Bears get the 2023 and the 2024 third round picks.
Robert Quinn hasn't done much. He's fallen off a little bit from last year, but back to back 3rd round picks. I think they would ask for a little bit more, maybe a 4th or 5th instead. So they would probably say no to that.
The Broncos get Mitch Trubinsky, and we get tight end Albert O.
Alberto. Um, the question would be with Pat Fryermuth why they would want Albert Okwuegbunam, but if they can get rid of Mitch Trubisky, I'm sure it doesn't matter how many tight ends they have.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I think that just the fact that you're trading a quarterback for a tight end should say something.
Exactly, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, Panthers get wide receiver Keith Bourne, and the Pats get Robbie Anderson. Straight up.
Yeah, I could see that happening. The Pats do have Nelson Aguilar there, Tyquan Thornton, both are deep threats, but yeah, they're not giving up much with Kendrick Bourne going away. So um, yeah, I could see that happening. That would benefit their offense.
The Ratbirds get David Montgomery. The Bears get a fifth round pick in 2023.
Ooh, yeah, I would jump all over that if I was a Ratbirds for sure. I would trade my fifth round for David Montgomery in a second.
The Rams get wide running back Sony Mitchell, and the Chargers get 2024 seventh round pick.
That would probably be an even trade.
Sony Michelle, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that would be an even trade, straight across the board there. But I think Sony Michelle is on the Chargers right now.
Yeah, he is.
Oh, he'd go back to the Rams. Never
Yeah,
mind.
yeah.
I forgot. I got that twisted in my head.
um,
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Sure.
the Lions, they get edge rusher Celine Farrell, and the Raiders get cornerback Amari Cruway.
Wari? Yeah. Amani O.
Yeah,
I think if the Raiders can get anything for Clelin Ferrell, they're going to do it. Uh, this guy this guy was the second pick of the draft, and has not. He might as well have been the second pick of undrafted free agents because he has done nothing.
he could have been the irrelevant man for what he's
Yeah, very much so. And you remember, I don't remember, but the Raiders went totally into it when they were going to draft for that season. They totally went into the dark. They banned all reporters
done.
and everybody else, and from knowing what they were doing. And then they come out with Clelin Ferrell as their pick.
Yeah.
And you're just like, what are you?
It's
That
like-
needed to be private.
and well, anyway, because no one else was going to take him that high. But anyway,
No, nobody. Right? Exactly.
the Chargers get cornerback Chris Boyd and a sixth round pick, and the Vikings get Michael Davis, cornerback for the Chargers.
6th round for Michael Davis. Yeah, that sounds about right. Sure.
Okay, let's see. Okay. Kansas City police reports that Devontae Adams is charged with misdemeanor assault for a Chev after Monday Night Football. Shannon Sharp says it's going to cost him a $250,000. What's your estimate?
Woo. Well, I believe Shannon Sharp because he's probably been in these kind of not maybe exactly this, but I'm sure he's been sued. Yeah, that sounds about right to me. They're he going after a quarter. What is it? 2.5 mil? You said
No, 250,000.
250,000 and a signed jersey and a football, probably. Yeah.
Well, he already worked for ESPN. That's why he was credentialed. He was a freelancer for ESPN. That's how he ended up there at the tunnel. But but then of course, the ambulance had to come, and he has a concussion, and so forth. And so, well, this was all in setting up the basis for the criminal lawsuit, of course. But yeah, the ambulance had to come and get him, and he put the brace on, the whole 9 yards.
They did the whole turning. You can't turn the neck and everything else. Yeah.
Right. So oh, my back, my back, my neck, so yeah. So but do you think $250,000 is about right these days? Maybe it was $250,000 in Shannon Sharp today. It might be $1.5 million today. And
I really wouldn't know. I'm sure that they're going to go after every cent that they can scratch off of this. It's an unfortunate situation, you know. He should never have done it. He should never have pushed him. He should have at least helped him up after pushing him or whatever, you know, do something instead of just keep running by. Um, but yeah, I never should have pushed him. I mean, if I'm the guy, I'm not going to be looking at money. I'm just going to be like, dude, just send me a football. Let me hang out in the locker room with the guys for a little bit or whatever. I'm not going to be like looking for money, but that's just the way our society is. It's really sad that everything has to be litigious.
yeah, I think personally he's gonna get judge money. Uh, how much was it that they offered Judge for that home run ball?
Oh, I don't know.
I know
I can look it up.
it was a few million. I think it was about five or something like that. But I think he's going to get close to Judge money. Uh, of course, they're not ever going to disclose the exact amount. It's all going to be settled out of court and all that. But
Oh, for sure.
uh, do you think LBJ will be back in a Rams uniform or someone else or somewhere else? He said he wants to play for a contender. Right now, the Rams aren't looking like they're a
Yeah,
contender.
they certainly don't. Yeah, I could see him coming back at the end of this year. I mean, it's unfortunate that he had that injury in February, and it usually takes about a year for him to come back, for anybody to come back off an ACL tear. Uh, but he should be okay for playoff time, I would imagine, and that would probably be his only bet would be for a team that needs that extra receiver, just like the Rams did, that put him over the top. And so I could see a situation like that where he would fit in nicely for.
Okay. Now, did you watch the Monday Night Football game by any chance?
I did, yes.
Okay. Well, I'm going to ask you: was the Monday Night Football game between the Raiders and the Chiefs a classic or a chapter in coaching for dummies?
um, I'm trying to think. Give me some examples of why you think it would be a coaching for dummies.
Okay. Well, he passed up. He tried a 2 point uh, play. And the reasoning, and I'm talking about the Raiders here. If you remember, they went for two,
God, I
and
don't remember this.
yeah, the Raiders went for two.
That's right. Now you do. They went for it early, right?
Right, right,
Yeah.
and,
Okay.
and left. That's what left all the time on the clock for Mahomes to put together that winning drive.
Right.
So if they always say you not you sometimes you have to go for the tie and then
Yeah.
go. I mean, uh,
I thought that
well,
was a bad decision.
well,
I would have done the extra
yeah.
point as well.
So was it a classic or was it coaching for dummies?
Mm, I think it would have been a classic if the Raiders had ended up tying that game as they're driving down the field, and if Devontae Adams got 2 feet in bounds instead of one, and that kind of thing. If they came back and the field goal would have won the game if I remember right.
Right, right.
So that would have made it a classic. So I'm gonna go coaching for dummies.
Okay. Um, Cowboys are seventh in the latest Fox NFL rankings, and the Eagles are first. Uh, Now, I got to disqualify. Well, let's kind of do it a different way here because I said I was using the possibility of Dak, but now we know that there's no Dak. So let's put it in a different perspective here. Would a win on Sunday night in Philly make the Cowboys the top team in the league?
I don't think so. I mean, you are knocking off the best team, in boxing. You would be the champion, but yeah, I think that would be quite a large jump. They could be like the fourth, team or the third team, but I don't think they would make it the first team.
Um, I need you to pull up the Cowboys' next two games. I think they're the Bears and someone else.
Schedule, sure. So this week they're playing the Eagles, as we just mentioned,
Right.
and next week is the Lions,
Okay.
and they're
And
playing them at home.
right, and then the week after that.
They're playing the Bears
Okay.
at home as well. So
Okay.
back-to-back home games.
Right, and against two teams that do not have winning records.
Correct.
So you're expecting Dak back to play the Lions, and you're expecting him to win both of those games.
Yeah.
But what happens if he wins those two and then loses the next two? Cooper Rush is on a 4-game winning streak. What happens if Dak goes 2-2? And remember, Jerry Jones has already told him that he overpaid him.
Dang.
You do remember that, right? Remember when
No, I had no idea that he said that.
Oh yeah,
crazy.
he told that in the press conference when they signed the contract. You can go back and check it out. He said, even though I know I'm overpaying you,
Wow.
here's the contract. But so if by chance Dak should finish off the rest of the season, which would be 12 games. This is week 6, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's say for the rest of the season, Dak goes, say, let's see, let's just say 8-4, and the Cowboys lose to the Eagles in the playoffs. Do you think Dak comes back?
Yeah, I think if he gets them into the playoffs, he's definitely coming back. If he fails, probably still, but it might be a more of a quarterback competition than it probably would have been if not.
But what if it's the defense that takes him to the title? I mean, to the championship, and not the offense. I mean, has anybody seen CD Lamb? I mean, is he under my bed? I mean, have you seen CD Lamb? I mean, come on, Noah Brown catches more passes and has more yardage than CD Lamb and Michael Gallup together.
That's kind of crazy. Yeah, I mean,
when did you draft Noah Brown in your fantasy league?
Oh, that would be I had.
yeah. See, precisely.
Yeah, I still think everything in today's society, like the way fandom works and everything rests on the quarterback, no matter how good the rest of the team does. Unless you're obviously bad, like Peyton Manning and the Denver Broncos world championship, right? When they won the Super Bowl. Peyton Manning was so just gone that it was obvious that the Broncos defense won that Super Bowl. Even so, he still got some of the glory as well. So unless it's a very huge distinction mark between defense and the quarterback, everybody always celebrates the quarterback regardless. So Dak could have an average game, and it could be all defense that wins this, sort of like how the Cowboys won it against Pittsburgh in 90, what was it, 5, 6, 7, something like that. it would have to be something to that effect where the defense just completely overrides anything Dak does.
I can't see. That was the week that you got that Dallas gave. Was it Joe Hayden? Wasn't it Joe Hayden? I think was
Oh
hurt.
no, you mean the Cowboys, that the defensive back that picked off three passes or whatever it was?
No, it's the Steeler quarterback that threw the three interceptions.
I thought wasn't that Ben Roethlisberger?
No, this was before Ben, I
Oh.
think. I'm talking about the game before Ben. Maybe we lost to Dallas, but I think Joe Hayden was our quarterback, and Ben started the next season, I believe, or something like that. But anyway, I thought the Cowboys should have made Hayden the most valuable player, but that's another conversation. Uh, Ron Rivera. Even though this is another question I wrote before last night, so now the Commanders are 2-4. But he had some really harsh things to say about Carson Wentz before that game. And even though the game ended up, 12, I think it was 12-7, something like that. Was that the end?
Yeah, I think it was 12-7. Oh, it
Yeah.
was Neil O'Donnell who was the quarterback for the Steelers.
Okay. Uh, and as I said, he talked a lot about Carson Wentz and Carson Wentz's ability, but then he tried to walk it back. Now, even though the Commanders won last night, Thursday night football, do you think, I mean, is all going to be hunky dory between Rivera and uh, Wentz? I mean, can we put this toothpaste back in the tube?
Yeah, you would hope so. I know he walked off the stage last night or the
Yeah, as soon as he was asked about it, it's like, oh,
I'm out of here. Yep. Um well, it is on Carson Wentz too. So yeah, I think the only thing that cures this is winning, and until then, whatever happens, they're probably going to ask him about Carson Wentz.
Yeah, I mean, 12, 12-7 is not exactly a resounding recommendation that I'm still the winning quarterback. I mean, you're one score away from losing, right?
Yep.
So, um, okay, I'm sure you'll appreciate this. Okay, because I should have made this coaching for dummies, but anyway, uh, 4th and 1 on the Colts 5, down by 3 points in overtime. Coach Hackett goes for the win instead of attempting the tying field goal or going up to the line and having Russ do a quarterback sneak.
Uh-huh.
You're 4th and 1. Is Hackett on the hot seat in Denver after these two bonehead games that Denver should have won?
Yeah, to be honest, I think he was on the hot seat after week 1. And it's only gotten hotter since then. So, yeah, I 100% do believe he's on the hot seat.
Now, again, because I always, every time everybody brings up, Tomlin and firing Tomlin and so forth and so on, okay, you can fire the coach, but if not Hackett, who?
Yeah, I don't. Maybe the offensive coordinator, because they're not really moving the ball at all offensively. So that could be a move that they would make. I would believe the offensive coordinator is Justin Otten. Um, so if you don't fire Hackett, I would fire Justin Otten.
Maybe he's like Dan Snyder. Maybe he knows somebody too.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
you always wonder, right? Why some of these people stay where they stay after so many, or get as many chances as they get after so many, tries, and knowing like, okay, this guy, why do you keep hiring this guy?
hey, you know, it's funny. Sports is one of the few occupations where you don't necessarily have to be successful in order for you to get a job.
Nope.
And, a lot of times it's more who you know than
Yep.
what you've done on the field. But
What on the field, absolutely.
so let's do some predictions here. And of course, the Commanders covered last night. The Commanders were a half-point favorite over the Bears. Okay, it's the first time I've seen that since I've been doing. Uh,
Yeah,
yeah,
that
yeah,
doesn't happen very often.
yeah,
Just a half
yeah,
point.
yeah. So let's start with the 49ers minus 5.5 at the Falcons.
If not by more. I could see a 8 point win for 49ers over the Falcons. The Falcons offense isn't grinding much points out there, and Cordell or Patterson is hurt. So yeah, I could see 49ers winning by, I would take the over on the 49ers.
The Pats plus 2.5 at Cleveland at the Clowns.
Wow. I think that's pretty much correct. If I was to pick, I'd pick the Clowns by 3. So that looks about right to me.
Well, I'm telling you, it's a good thing Demetrius isn't here, man. Oh man, was it 26-0? I'm like, come on,
Yeah, that was again. Yeah, that was crazy. I'm like, whoa! I didn't even. Yeah.
The Jets plus 6.5 at Green Bay.
Um, that's a lot of points for Packers to win by. I think that offense isn't all that good. I would go the under. Packers still win, but lower than 6.5.
Yeah, got a big 16.75 from Aaron Rodgers last week. I was just ecstatic with that. Anyway, so let's see. Oh, the Jags plus 1.5 at the Colts.
Yeah, I think the Colts should win this. 1.5 seems a little too close. They hardly ever work out that way. So usually I go the over when it's like 1.5. So I would take the Colts in the over.
Okay, the Vikings minus 2.5 at the Fins, the Dolphins.
Yeah, Vikings should win this. That seems about right. 2.5, 3 points. Yeah, Skylar Thompson is the quarterback for the Dolphins this week. I don't have much faith in him, so I don't have much faith in the Vikings as a team either. So 3 points sounds about good.
Yeah, Kirk Cousins is still the quarterback. The Bungles minus 1.5 at the Saints.
Yeah, again with the short 1.5. I'd go the over, and I think the Bungles win. So Bungles in the over.
The Ratbirds minus 4.5 at the Giants.
This could be a really close game. I'm gonna go the under. I think this will be a field goal kind of game. So, Ratbirds by 3.5.
Speaking of ass whoopings, let's see. The Steelers were they got 10.5 last week, and everybody was talking, too much. Yeah, they got beat by what, 30? I mean, well,
Yeah, it was
okay.
It was a beatdown.
So the Bucks by 7.5 over the Steelers.
I can see that. If anything, it's probably going to be the over, but a touchdown and a half sounds about right.
Okay. The Panthers minus 10.5 at the Rams.
I don't. Wow, Panthers are 10.5 favorites over the
No, no,
Rams.
no. The 10.5 point dogs. I said
Oh,
minus 10.5. The Rams are giving them 10.5.
I guess I'm reading that wrong. Um,
Yes,
oh,
yeah, you're right. It should have been the Panthers plus 10.5 at the Rams.
um, that that's way too many points. Rams offense isn't that good. I mean, maybe last year I would say okay, but not this year. No, I'd go the under.
The Cards minus 2.5 at the Seahawks.
Yeah, I could see field goal, so I could see the Cardinals winning. So I'd go the over. Cardinals with the over, like 4 or 5.
The Bills minus 2.5 at the Chiefs.
Yeah, that should be fun.
It's Sunday night game, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
No,
that
no,
that
no. That's not the Sunday because the Eagles and Cowboys is Sunday night.
Oh man, really?
Yeah, yeah. The Eagles and Cowboys is the late game. So
Man,
this,
Bills
so
and
this.
how do you not put the Bills and Chiefs in prime? I mean, come on. Oh wow, I would take that over Cowboys and Eagles any day. Or put them on Monday Night Football or something. I don't know.
No, Monday night is the Broncos and the Chargers. So,
Oh boy, that sounds exciting. Um, yeah, just to go back to the Bills Chiefs, I think Bills are going to win by a field goal. So I'd go the over 2.5 is too small for me.
okay, you still think it's going to be close, even though there's no Tyreek Hill this year. You know,
Yeah, that Chiefs offense is still explosive. They might be even more explosive without Tyreek Hill.
I don't know if they're more explosive, but I think they're more unexpected.
Yes, that's a good way of saying it. Because I didn't think they would be this good without Tyreek Hill, and they were just very fluid. Especially with a 1-year-old Travis Kelsey. Yeah,
And Travis, I mean, Juju and Marquez Scanling, really?
yeah,
I mean,
exactly. Like no,
you're talking about putting your offense together with paper clips and bubble gum. I mean, Jesus
right?
Christ, you know. So, hey, but I'm like you. This could have been my Sunday night game. This could have been my Monday night game. This could even been my next Thursday night game. But
Yeah,
anything, but anyway, okay. So uh, the Cowboys plus 4.5 at the Eagles.
I think the Cowboys win this game. Um, so I would take the points in the Cowboys.
I have no faith in America's team. So I would definitely take the 4 points in the Eagles. You know, so yeah. Uh, anyway, Monday night, the Broncos plus 5.5 at the Chargers.
Um, Chargers. Yeah, I could see Chargers winning by a touchdown in this game. So I would
Who's
definitely
he going to
go.
throw the ball to, Mike?
Huh?
Who's he going to throw the ball to? Keenan Allen's out, right?
Keenan
He,
Allen could be
yeah,
out.
he's still out there. Mike Williams was
Mike Williams.
supposedly hobbled after last Sunday's game. He was questionable, unless they changed it today. Uh, I'm not saying that I mean I know Allen isn't going to play, but I mean if Williams doesn't play, you know, Eckler coming out of the backfield.
Yeah, that's all. Yeah, but I mean the Broncos defense is really good, and you're making a good point about the players not being there. If Mike Williams doesn't show up, then I can see them winning by 5.5, or a field goal.
Yeah, instead
That
of
that would
five
make
and a half.
sense.
Yeah, yeah. All right, I'm going to get into a little fantasy football now, your specialty.
Yeah.
So this is now time to trade, drop, or pick up.
Okay.
Okay. So my first question or uh, example is Rams quarterback Matt Stafford and all the Rams wide receivers and running backs except Cooper Cup. Should I drop him, trade him, or pick him up?
You can drop Matt Stafford. And
Now, when I say all, I'm talking about Allen Robinson, Cam Akers, Henderson. Uh, I guess that's about all of the targets except for Cup, right? Everything else goes
pretty
to Cup.
much, I would hang on to Henderson, but all the other guys you can dump.
Cowboys wide receiver Michael Gallup.
I would pick up if he's available. Drop or trade. No, you're probably not going to get much out of him. And I definitely wouldn't drop him. So pickup would be the answer there.
49ers wide receiver Ayuk. Ayuk.
Drop. No. Pickup. He's probably not available. So trade would be the answer.
Stay with the 49ers. Jeff Wilson Jr.
He would make a good trade prospect. I wouldn't drop him. He could be available, but if you have him, he would make an excellent trade prospect just because once Eli Mitchell returns, that will be the running back there.
Lions quarterback Jared Goff.
He also makes a good trade prospect because he's like QB 7 or 8 right now, and I don't see him hanging on to that title. He could make a nice pairing for an Amon-Ra St. Brown owner where you want to get Jared Goff and those two connected. So I would say trade.
Russell Wilson.
Yeah, you can drop that dude.
Geno Smith.
Um, I if anything, you're going to trade him. He might be still available in some leagues, but that's
Yeah,
getting very, very few.
he's still available in some leagues. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what his ownership is, but it's he's out there. I got him last week, so I know he's definitely out there. Um, it's getting slimmer though, so you could pick him up. Definitely check the waiver wire, see if he's there. Um, I I think this is going to be his season. So I wouldn't drop him or trade him. If you're there picking him up, then you want to keep him.
Davis Mills.
Yeah, you could drop him. Unfortunately, he's just not performing.
Titans wide receiver Robert Woods.
If you can pick him up, do so. But you trade him as well. Just Titans offense, the passing isn't all that great.
Broncos running back Melvin Gordon III.
Yeah, he would be a trade prospect based on his fumbles or whatever. But he's probably not available to be picked up, and I wouldn't drop him.
Jerry Jeudy.
I would want to trade Jerry Jeudy, but if anything, I'm probably not going to get any answers. So I would probably drop him.
Carson Wentz.
He's still like the QB like 6 or 7 on the season. So but no one's going to want him, right? So if anything, you're probably going to have to drop him of the 3 options. But if I have to pick him, especially super flex leagues, I want to keep him.
And of course, your quarterback Matty Ice.
Yeah, another trade possibility. If he hasn't, and I wouldn't be interested in picking him up. So, I think he's serviceable to be a backup, but he would be more trade prospect than dropping for me.
All right, let's see. Let's go into this week's lineup, and this time I'm gonna give you some alternatives. I'm not doing just throw one guy out here.
Okay.
We're gonna assume that you have multiple quarterbacks or running backs or tight ends or either one. So the first one, uh, Broncos quarterback Russell Wilson or Vikings quarterback Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, I have to go Kirk Cousins here. I cannot trust Russell Wilson until he actually. I mean, he had one okay week. I think that was week 3, but for the most part, it's just been a disaster. So I'd have to go Kirk Cousins.
Okay, next quarterback, Patrick Mahomes or Justin Herbert.
I'm going to go Patrick Mahomes. I think that game is going to be a blowout. And then, as you were mentioning with Justin Herbert, if he doesn't have the options there, it's going to be a very difficult day for him.
Okay, Jacoby Brissett or Cooper Rush.
Ooh, that's a tough one. That Eagles defense is pretty tough. I'm gonna go with Jacoby Brissett.
Joe Burrows or Kyler Murray.
That's
Joe
another good one.
Burrow, I'm sorry.
That's a tough one too.
I didn't
I'll
say
go
it
with
was gonna
Kyler
be
Murray.
easy. I said it was gonna be easy. Now. I mean, if you're lucky enough to be, to went through and been able to pick up Joe Burrow and Kyler Murray, then more power to you. I think it's um, okay. The Ratbirds, Lamar Jackson or Jalen Hurts.
I'm gonna go Jalen Hurts. That's another tough one. But I think the Eagles with Jalen Hurts, the Rappers have, I believe, a tougher matchup. So, and they're pretty equal as far as points producer. So the easier matchup would be for me, I think.
Let's see. That was Lamar Jackson. Okay, Matt Stafford or Geno Smith.
Yeah, Geno Smith. As crazy as it sounds, I don't know how many people would say this last year. But
I mean,
yeah,
we would have said it at the beginning of the year, not just
exactly
last year. I
right.
mean,
Yeah,
like 5 games ago, right?
yeah.
When,
Nobody would.
when we were
Yeah,
when we were talking about like what are they going to do after Russell's gone and who is going to be the quarterback and
yep.
I mean so you
And
know
it's like they're not going after anybody during the draft, and they're not going after a free agent. They're not going after Jimmy Garoppolo. What's wrong with them? How can they
right.
go with Geno Smith and Drew Lock? This makes zero sense.
Yeah. And most of us, you know, I think were surprised when it turned out to be Geno Smith because
Yes,
I think Pete Carroll had the preference actually for Locke, didn't he?
probably. I mean, I know I would have. It makes it, Drew Lock has the stronger arm, and DK Metcalf down the field. That would make all the sense to me. But whoever decided that it was Geno Smith made the right decision.
Um, okay, let's do a few running backs here. Zeke Elliott or Joe Mixon.
I had to go Joe Mixon. Zeke has just not been much of anything this year. I think his time is sort of wrapping up. Um, he's going to have a nice payday this year, and then he'll be a backup somewhere next season.
Okay. Uh, Miles Sanders or Austin Eckler.
Ooh, I like Miles Sanders, but he's more of a number 2. So I got to go with Austin Eckler here.
Singletary or Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Ooh, neither of these guys score many touchdowns. I'm going. I'll go Clyde Edwards-Helaire because he probably has more of a chance at catching more passes. Their yards will probably equal out the same. So reception wise, CEH. I'd go CEH.
All right. This next one kind of chokes me a little bit, but Fournette or Dalvin Cook.
Dalvin Cook is sort of fallen off a little bit. Where is Dalvin Cook, by the way? Let's see. I have to put in the search. But he's 13, and Fournette is 7. So I'm gonna have to go Fournette here as well. Him catching the ball and should score another touchdown this week. So I'm gonna go Fournette.
Chubb or Aaron Jones? Before you answer that, what's wrong? I mean, if Favre has no confidence in his wide receivers, doesn't it also seem like Green Bay is cutting back on their running game? I mean, I thought both of these running backs should have been on course. Like I said, it should be both of them should have 1,000 yards. How many carries did Aaron get last week?
Not much. As far as like us thinking the same thing. I really thought they would be leaning heavily on them as well.
I mean, there's other than Cleveland, I think that has to be one of the best duos, Dillon and Jones. I think they certainly compare to Chubb and Hunt.
Yeah, they're both up there. I mean, I put the Browns a tier above, but it's not like they're bad or any means. So Jones had 13 carries and AJ Dillon had 6. So
Yeah,
19 total.
yeah. Between like you said, 19 total. I mean, shouldn't that have been, and then Green Bay wonders why they lost.
Yeah. They're not using them the way they should be using them at all. That number should be much higher. So yeah,
Jones. It's not like Jones is not a workhorse. I think that last year, with the average 20 plus carries per game, I know, and it was divided up pretty much equally, wasn't? We talked about this earlier in preseason. I think how closely they were matched. That was one of the reasons why I think most of us thought that both of these guys would at least be 1,000 yards or close to 1,000 yards. Maybe one with 800 and the other with 12. Something like that. But like 13 carries between the two of them.
yeah, that makes like no sense.
Who,
They
who's
scored
their
well.
offensive coordinator? Maybe I should
There
run
you go.
the Green Bay.
Hell yeah, let's do that. I'm all for that.
But yeah, what do you think? I mean, is this coaching? I mean, it, it would seem that if Aaron doesn't have that confidence that he would go to hey coach, okay, well I'm not gonna Lazard is gone. The only guy that can catch the ball is Dobbs. So I mean, hey, let's have a game plan. Jones carries it 28 times, and Dillon carries it 30, and I dink and dunk, which is exactly what he did Sunday. But
Yeah, he only threw 5.7 yards per
yeah,
snap. So.
yeah, and people say that Brady dunks, right? Okay, all right.
Yeah,
But
they're not. Yeah, the 5.7 is definitely. I mean, Daniel Jones had 8
yeah,
8 yards.
yeah,
So that yeah,
yeah.
that's definitely dink and dunk 5.7.
Yeah, that's Big Ben numbers there.
Yeah, for sure.
Getting back, why do you think? I mean, that Green Bay is not trusting this running game.
That's a good question. I don't know if it's just because it's I don't think it would be schematic, because why wouldn't you start these guys and put these guys as your number ones, and make the offense revolve around you? Aaron Rodgers not only is 35, 36, or whatever he is, but is just a pocket passer. So you're not going to be scheming runs for Aaron Rodgers. And the receivers aren't there. Romeo Dobbs looks promising, but he's not a superstar. So it should revolve around all rushing. So the only thing that I can think of is either it's bad coaching, or it's the fact that they're just in those situations where they need to throw the ball, and that takes away from the running game. Now, I'd like to see how good they are on third downs. That could also be a possibility. If they're not performing well on third downs, then that means they're off the field. So if you're off the field, then you're not running the ball or passing the ball or either. So that could be it as well.
But I mean, Mike, come on, you get 9 carries on a drive.
You could, sure. I mean,
I mean, I'm talking about AJ Dillon numbers now, but I mean, you can get starting in your own 25. I mean, it's usually 2 yards, 2 yards, and then that big burst, or Aaron throws that little 5-yard pass. But I mean, it's not down the field like we used to see. Of course, hey, we can definitely see the absence of Devontae there. But so Chubb or Aaron, Green Bay might want to get their running attack back this week. And what do you think? Who you got here?
yeah, I have to go Nick Chubb. For me, he's probably, if not the best running back in football, he's very close to it. And then Aaron Jones, as we're talking about, needs to be used more. So I'm going to go Nick Chubb.
Okay, let's see. Cowboys wide receiver Noah Brown or Green Bay wide receiver Romeo Dobbs?
I'd like to see the rookie win this battle. So I'm going to go Romeo.
Okay. Aren't they both rookies? I don't remember. When did Brown come out?
Oh, Brown has been in 3 years now.
Okay. All right. I'm not a big Cowboy follower, so it's okay. Duvernay or Gabe Davis?
Ooh, that's a good one. Both of them are kind of the same.
And Duvernay is now the number one due to the injury, of course. I mean, there's no
Yeah,
Bateman.
with Rashad Bateman.
Yeah, and the other wide receivers out also. So it's Duvernay and Andrews.
Wow. Yeah, I'm gonna go Duvernay. Gabe Davis is definitely up and down, just because he's probably the second, third, fourth option on most pass plays, where Duvernay will be the first option on almost all plays.
Okay. AJ Brown or Justin Jefferson?
I gotta go Justin Jefferson. AJ Brown is just too way up and down for me. And Justin Jefferson is one of the better, if not the best, route runner. I mean, he's up there with Stephon Diggs and Tyreek Hill and Cooper Kupp, and
Yeah,
so
but it's Kirk Cousins that's throwing in the ball, though. It's, you know.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's always true. And it's an interesting stat. Adam Thielen, since like 2017, hasn't gone like 3 games without a touchdown. So this
And
would
he's
be game number 3. So Adam Thielen might get the touchdown. Who knows?
that's a good one there. I didn't think about that. Thielen or Renfro.
I'm gonna go with the odds here and go with Thielen. Yeah, he'll catch a touchdown in this game. Hunter Renfrow didn't play much last week. I don't know if that was just because he was coming off a 2-week concussion period or if the offense has changed. We'll see this week. But it's all about Devontae Adams, and it should be.
Well, if you remember last week, it was him and Devontae that collided.
That's right. At
I
the
mean,
very end.
yeah, when everybody thought it was a pass interference play, and they looked back,
Right.
it's like hey, it was their feet that got tangled up. Kansas City had nothing to do with it, but okay. This one should interest you: the clowns of Amari Cooper or Michael Pittman.
Ooh. I think Amari Cooper has more ceiling than Michael Pittman does. So, and that Jaguars defense is really tough. I'm going to go Amari Cooper.
Drake London or Gabe Wilson?
Drake London or I don't know who Gabe Wilson is.
Jets wide receiver, the rookie, isn't he? Isn't that Gabe Wilson?
Oh, Garrett Wilson.
Garrett Wilson. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Ooh, that's a tough one too. I'm gonna go Garrett Wilson here. We'll see Zach Wilson get the rookie involved. Head-to-head rookies, that should be fun. But I'm gonna lean more towards the Jets offense than the Falcons offense and go Garrett Wilson.
Well, one is playing Green Bay and the Falcons are playing. Who are the Falcons playing? We just went over that.
I forgot who it was. Falcons.
The Falcons are playing the 49ers.
Yeah, that makes even more me leaning towards Garrett Wilson.
Okay. Tyler Lockett or Christian Kirk?
Christian Kirk earlier in the year looked much better. The Colts passing defense is pretty strong. I'm going to go with Tyler Lockett.
Okay, that's a couple of tight ends here. Tyson Hill or George Kittle?
Well, George Kittle played pretty well. Hopefully that'll continue. I'll go with George Kittle.
Hunter Henry or Tanyan?
Yeah, Hunter Henry hasn't done 0 this year. It's so surprising. I'm going to have to go Robert Tanyan until Hunter Henry shows up and does something this year.
Goddard or Ertz?
That's a good one too. Well, until DeAndre Hopkins returns, I'm going to go Zach Ertz.
Ollie Cox or Irv Smith Jr.?
I think Ollie Cox catches a touchdown this week, and that should do enough over Irv Smith. So Mo Ollie Cox.
Njoku or Everett?
Yeah, that's a tough one too, especially if players are out for the Chargers. He'd be one of their top targets in this game. But Njoku's just been amazing. I'm going to go with more of the certainty and go David Njoku.
Okay. All right. Anyone that we should be looking for on the waiver wire? Any injuries out there? That make it a necessity to pick up some of these other guys. What about Jimmy G? What should we expect from Jimmy G? Trevor Lawrence? Give us a few gems out there.
I think make it interesting. You could probably pick up Jimmy Garoppolo or Eno Benjamin. Those are sort of the dark horses if they haven't been picked up already.
Now,
Um,
I've seen Benjamin on a lot of waiver wires and a lot of recommendations, especially if you do ESPN and they give you, if you got ESPN Plus, they give you the recommendations for your lineup and whatnot. But is he going to be, a guy that gets you through injuries, or is he a guy that you can pick up and keep?
yeah, I don't know how much he's to keep. Um, I mean, I think once the offense returns back to form, James Conner is back and Chase Edmonds, and then Benjamin will probably be what he's been this season. So
And the quarterback comes back too, right?
no, that Kyler Murray
I
is
mean,
going to be.
not the. Let's see, you mentioned Connors. Uh, I'm trying to think of uh, the wide receiver. He's on eight games. He's had two more games to sit out.
Oh yeah. DeAndre Hopkins.
Right. Yeah. Okay. That's who I meant.
Yeah.
He comes back in 2 weeks.
Yes.
And where are you gonna keep what's the guy from the Ratbirds? Uh,
Oh, Hollywood Brown.
yeah. So what do you do when DeAndre comes back? Yeah, is Hollywood going to be? Of course, Hollywood's going to be number two
Yes.
because DeAndre was his favorite target before he went out.
Correct.
So
And I think that'll continue. And DeAndre Hopkins is going to be, fresh and ready to go. And
and Ertz is going to be your dependable tight end.
yes, for sure. So I think Hollywood Brown he won't be as consistent as he is now, but he'll still put up good numbers. So flex worthy, but not a starter. Like he's, now where what is he, like wide receiver 7 or something? He's 6, wide receiver 6. I could see him dropping down to like wide receiver 17 area once DeAndre Hopkins comes back.
Let me tell you. Let's see. I got one fantasy league up here now. Running backs, the top five that are still out there uh, in this particular league are Antonio Gibson, Chase Edmonds, Brian Robinson, uh, Henderson Jr. Let's see. Then you got Javante on IR. You got Penny on IR. You got okay, and then James Cook and uh, Rashid White.
Yeah, I'd probably go Daryl Henderson there.
And let's see, wide receivers in this particular league that are open are, uh, let's see, number one would be Ayuk, Daryl Mooney, Tyler Boyd. Then you got Landry that's out. You got Tony that's out. Then you got McKenzie. Uh, Traylon Burks is out, and then you have Duvernay is available in this
Hmm.
league.
Yeah, I would either go Ayuk or Duvernay.
Uh, let's see. Let me find another. Oh, let's see who's available in the sports crib here.
Mhm.
By the way, guys, I do have a championship T-shirt to be awarded to the winner, and as soon as I get it back from where I ordered it, I'll put a picture up on the sports crib
Oh, that's
to
gonna be fun.
show everybody what that championship jersey looks like.
Right on.
Okay, all right, in the sports crib. Okay, let's go here first. QBs that are available: Trevor Lawrence, Jared Goff, Carson Wentz, Daniel Jones, Zach Wilson, Jimmy G, Marcus Mariota, and Tannehill. And in
Yeah, I
this
probably
one, let's see, Deshaun Watson is still available too. I'm not sure, what he's going to look like for 8 games or 7 games, whatever that's going to be. But he is
he might not
available.
play at all this season. Did you hear that another file came out against him?
No, not hey, the gift that just keeps on giving. I hear
Isn't it?
you. Hey
Oh,
man, so let's see. Yeah, that was the quarterbacks. Let's go to the running backs here. Okay, running backs that are still available: J.K. Dobbs, Michael Carter, uh, Khalil. Oh, Herbert might pick him up my damn self. Uh, Brian Robinson, Daryl Henderson, J.K. McKissick, uh, and Tyler Algieri.
I'd probably go Dobbins. Um, out of that group. I know the Bears were running Khalil Herbert. Makes it interesting, but I think J.K. Dobbins has more of a role.
Okay. Uh, Wide receivers, McLaren. Of course, let's see. Hopkins is still available. Uh,
Hmm.
Lazard, Garrett Wilson, Jacoby Myers, Hunter Renfro, Dale Moody, and Robert Woods, and Claypool, and Dobbs. Hmm.
Oh, well, interesting. I'd probably go with Jacoby Myers.
Okay, and tight ends, you have Hill, Hayden Hurst, Gasecki, Irvin Smith, Hunter Henry, Tyler Conklin,
Hmm.
uh, Komet, uh, Font, and Tanyan.
I'd probably go Taysom Hill, but I'd keep an eye on Tyler Conklin.
Sleeper.
Yeah, well, he did really well with Joe Flacco, but didn't do so well with Zach Wilson. So I want to see if it's a trend or if it's just a bad game.
Okay, let's go one more here. The Token Brothers. Let's see what we got here. All right. Uh, all right. Uh, Running backs: Tony Pollard, uh, Herbert, Eno Benjamin, Brian Robinson, Algieri, Mike Boone, another guy that uh, people have been talking about since was Williams went down, right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Rashad White and Rex Burkhead and Jerick McKinnon.
I'd probably go Pollard or McKinnon. Those are probably the two highest waiver wire prospects.
Okay, wide receivers: Pickens, Gallup, Gage, uh, McKenzie, Robbie Anderson, Joshua Palmer, and Corey Davis.
I think I'd go Pickens here. I really like that Pickett to Pickens combination. So I'd go George Pickens.
All right, and let's see the tight ends, and then we'll jump out of here. Let's see the tight ends: Hawkinson, Tyson Hill, Gasecki, Smith Jr., uh, Conklin, Tanyan, and Evan Ingram.
Yeah, again, it's a toss up probably between Taysom Hill and Tyler Conklin. Keep an eye on Conklin because he's more uh, he has a higher floor than Taysom Hill does, but if Zach Wilson is not throwing him the ball like Joe Flacco did, then he's not worth anything.
All right, man. Well, hey, another Saturday, another Friday night gone.
Yes, sir.
How'd you do last week?
I did okay, about 50-50. How about yourself?
Uh, a little better this week. I think I got a 55.
Oh, right on.
So I did just a little better. Some of my guys are finally starting to come through and show, but unfortunately, I hitched my star to a few Rams that haven't came
Yeah.
through for me, uh,
Yeah.
and you know, it's starting to look like I might have to put Mr. Stafford on the trading block there. Uh, and fortunately, in a few leagues, and I know you guys had talked against it, but in some of those leagues where I took him as my third quarterback, I can kind of get rid of him now for free.
Sure.
So it kind of worked out.
Hmm.
In some ways, I was able to pick up a couple rookies. And they haven't done bad for me. Fortunately, Ayuk is another one that hasn't panned out for me, and between Jonathan Taylor and Aaron Jones last week, I had a bad week as far as the running backs were concerned.
Yeah, that's tough.
A big goose egg from Jonathan, of course,
Right.
and I think all of was it 6 points from Aaron Jones?
Yeah, it wasn't not. Yeah, I think he
Yeah,
only had like 63 yards or something to that
yeah,
effect. Yeah, it was
and
not
and
good.
and a big 16 from Mr. Aaron Rodgers,
Yeah.
16.75. So yeah, some of the guys that you expect to have good games. I mean, and a lot of times I pick according to the opponent. Figuring that hey, Green Bay will beat the Giants rather than you know, you know, but fortunately. I did have Josh Allen, so my Steelers helped
Oh,
me
yeah.
out of it tremendously.
Yeah, they did.
And so, you know, and I do carry that Bills defense, so
Mhm.
so yeah. But hey, Mike, as I said, man, always good. Talking this Friday night fantasy football, a little NFL. Give me your final thoughts, man, and let's go have some dinner.
Yes, sir. I'm waiting for yeah, that sounds great. Final thoughts, I just hope everybody has a great weekend. Be safe out there, and then hopefully the teams that you root for, the team that you construct for fantasy football, all work out for you. And then yeah, take care. And for right back at you, sir. I enjoy this Friday evening quite a bit. I look forward to it every week. So it's great working with you.
All right, my man. You have a great weekend, and I'll talk to you next Thursday.
Sounds good, sir. Take care.
All right. You too. Have a great night, everyone. Glad you could join us on Friday night for our fantasy football, and the winners are. Thank you, and we'll see you next week.